Bienvenidos a este curso de inglés pre-avanzado completamente gratis. I upload a new video every Monday and Thursday, so make sure you subscribe to my channel to receive notifications. And don't forget, you can join the Facebook group to download all of my resources, including the presentation for this class. Today we begin pre-advanced level with a review of different verb tenses. But first, let's have a look and see what we're going to study throughout pre-advanced. As you can see here on the screen, I'm going to be speaking 95% English in my instructions in pre-advanced. And the topics in the 9 classes that we have in pre-advanced are as follows. First, we will see the tense review today. Then we'll look at the difference between so and neither or neither, and to and either or either. Then in the 3rd class, we will look at reported speech. In the 4th class, we will look at past perfect continuous. We've already studied the past perfect. In the 5th class, we will look at future continuous tense. In the 6th, future perfect and future perfect continuous tense. In the 7th, we will look at cleft sentences. In the 8th, we will look at some more advanced verb and adjective structures. And finally, in the 9th class, we will look at indirect questions, some more on articles, and then the verbs have and get something done. So today, as I said, we're going to be doing a tense review to try and refresh our minds of everything we have studied together. Here we have the 6 tenses that we saw in pre-intermediate level. We have an example of present, he likes Shakira. An example of present continuous, you are watching Netflix right now. An example of the past simple, they bought Indian food yesterday. An example of present perfect, we have spoken about it, lo hemos hablado. An example of future with will, I will or I'll call again tomorrow. An example with future going to, she's going to try harder. And an example of a sentence with a modal verb. We also looked at how to do the negative form of all of those tenses using auxiliary verbs, which are very, very important in English because in Spanish you just say no, right? But in English you need to have an auxiliary verb that absorbs that no. So, he doesn't like Shakira, you aren't watching Netflix, they didn't buy Indian food, we haven't spoken about it, I won't call again tomorrow, she's not going to try harder, and he can't swim. Okay? Can't being my British accent. In America you would say can't swim. And then we looked at the question form using the auxiliary verbs. Again, that's why auxiliary verbs are very, very important in English. Does he, are you, did they, have we, will I, is she, and can he. In the intermediate level, we added 3 more tenses. We looked at present perfect continuous, lo que hemos estado haciendo, right? We looked at past continuous, lo que hacía o lo que estaba haciendo, and we looked at past perfect, lo que había hecho. So we have been cleaning or we've been cleaning for days. She was walking in the park and he had tried sushi before. Again, we looked at the negatives. We haven't been cleaning for days. She wasn't walking in the park and he hadn't tried sushi before. And of course, we also looked at the questions using the auxiliary verbs. Have we, was she, had he. A couple of other things that are important to mention. We studied in intermediate the conditionals. We looked at the 0 conditional in the present. If you diet, you lose weight. We looked at the first conditional with will. He will call you if he needs help. We looked at the second conditional. If I was or if I were an animal, I would be a lion. And we looked at the third conditional. If he had trained harder, he would have won. And of course, we investigated the negative forms. Right? So for example, the negative form of the second conditional, if I wasn't happy, I would leave. I wouldn't buy it if I didn't have the money. And some negative examples of the third conditional, if I hadn't lost my job, I wouldn't have lost my house. Ana de Armas would have been with me if she had met me first. Okay? Habría estado conmigo Ana de Armas si me hubiera conocido a mí primero. Of course, right? This is a lot of information, I know, but I want to see if you can select the correct auxiliary or the correct verb form. So, let's look at this example. Choose the most appropriate structure. So look at the context of the sentence. Of course, that's important. To Claire when you called. I am talking, I've been talking, I was talking to Claire when you called. Okay, what do you think the answer would be? She's been late, she is late, she was late 3 times this week. Again, the clue is in the context, this week. I've learnt, I've been learning, I'm learning English for 3 years now. I was having, I used to have a friend called John, but not anymore. We've been having, we've had, we have this car since 2010. And finally, Sarah had already met, Sarah already met, or Sarah has already met John before she saw him at the party. Okay, so I'm going to give you a chance to stop the presentation and do the activity, okay? Because I'm going to tell you the answers now. 3, 2, 1. The first answer is I was talking. You can see that we're talking about a past action. Cuando llamaste, lo que yo hacía era, I was talking to Claire. Estaba hablando con Claire cuando llamaste. 3 times this week, 3 veces en esta semana. So you know that this week is a time that started in the past and continues now. So we're going to be using the present perfect, right? She's been late. Ha llegado tarde 3 veces esta semana. She's been late 3 times this week. For 3 years now. So it's to do with learn English for 3 years. It's a continuous action, so we're going to be selecting a continuous tense. What's it going to be? 3 years includes the past and the present, so we're going to use again a present perfect tense, but the continuous form. A friend called John, but not anymore. So we're talking about past and have, a friend, but not anymore. I was having, I'd have, I used to have. Well, había tenido un amigo que se llamaba John, pero ya no. Había tenido, it's a bit strange, right? Estaba teniendo? No. I was having? No. In this case, you would say I used to have. Why? Because have is not a dynamic verb, so you cannot say I was having. You can say I had, or I used to have, which is kind of like tenía, solía tener, right? We looked at that. This car since 2010. Again, this car since, desde, that's going to tell you something. And again, it's have, it's possession, so it's not dynamic, so we can't have this. We have, in English you can't say that. In Spanish, maybe colloquially you could say tenemos este carro desde. But in English, you have to be more precise with the sentence. So we have had, hemos tenido, okay? And then John, before she saw him at the party. Sarah ya conocía, o ya había conocido. John, before she saw him, antes de verlo. So had already met, okay? Ya había conocido. You could also say Sarah already met, because some people don't use the had like they should. It would be grammatically incorrect, but it's sometimes said, okay? All right, more activities. Again, the most appropriate structure. If I were you, and then I would have taken, I would take, or I will take the opportunity. I won't lose, I wouldn't have lost, I wouldn't lose weight if I don't diet. If Neymar had scored, PSG will win, PSG would have won, PSG would win. I'm still not sure if I'm going to go, I'll go to the party. My wife had left before I had gotten, I got, or I was getting home. And finally, this sentence, this last one, I want you to change it from active voice, like it is right now, to passive voice, okay? Because we also studied that. I'm going to tell you the answers, so stop the video. 3, 2, 1. Okay. The first one, if I were you, I would take, okay? I would take. Again, we can see this is a second conditional. So it's going to be would plus the verb. Si fuera tú, la realidad es que no lo soy, ¿verdad? So it's a second unreal conditional. I would take the opportunity. If I don't diet, that's present tense with the if, so it's going to be a will, okay? I won't lose weight if I don't diet. If Neymar had scored, PSG would have won. So this is the third conditional. Si Neymar hubiera anotado un gol, PSG habría ganado, right? PSG habría ganado. So that's PSG would have won. Third conditional. And you can tell it's third conditional because of this, right? Had and a past participle next to the if. I'm still not sure if I'm going to go, or I will go, or I'll go to the party. In this case, actually, you could select any one. Most people would say probably I'll go because you're not sure, right? But a lot of people say casually, I'm still not sure if I'm going to the party. I'm still not sure if I'm going to go to the party. So, I mean, all three are okay. My wife had left before I had gotten, I got, or I was getting home. In this case, you would say I got, because you have past perfect with past simple. An unidentified person killed the president. So this is active voice because you have the active subject, an unidentified person, then a verb, and then the object. But because the object is more important, we want to put the object first. The president fue matado por a person that's unidentified. So in this case, it's past tense. We're going to say fue matado. The president was killed. And in this case, we don't really need to include this information because it doesn't tell us anything we don't know, okay? Now this activity is also testing your understanding of tenses. Here I have a paragraph, and in this paragraph I'm going to ask you to put these events in the correct order depending on how they happen in the story, okay? It's not necessarily the order they appear in the paragraph, it's the order of the story, okay? Here's the story. My best friend is called Kyle, but he wasn't always my best friend. When I started secondary school, my best friend was Mark. Mark left the school to go and live in America. Many years later, around 2013, I moved permanently to Mexico, but Kyle had already moved to a different city to work, so we didn't see each other much. Last time I went to the UK was summer 2019, and I took my son to meet Kyle for the first time. I remember when we were best friends at school, we used to talk about our future kids. It's so weird to think about it now. Okay, so here we have the different events in the story. I'm going to give you time, stop the video, do the activity, try and put the events in sequence depending on the story, all right? Okay, here are the answers. 3, 2, 1. So the first thing that happens is that my best friend was Mark. Then Mark left. Then my best friend was Kyle. And here at the end I put, we used to talk about our future kids when we were at secondary school. Cuando estábamos en la secundaria hablábamos o solíamos hablar de nuestros futuros hijos. So that happened a long time ago, right? We used to talk about our future kids. Then Kyle moved. Then I moved. Then I came back to the UK for a vacation. My son met Kyle, and right now it's weird. Okay, so that's the correct sequence of things that have happened in the story, depending on what was written. Okie dokie. I have more activities for you. Okay, so I want you to use the correct forms of be, have, or do to complete these questions. It could be is, are, was, were, been. It could be anything, right? Have, has, had, do, did, done, does, any of those, okay? Didn't, haven't, weren't, wasn't, okay? Lots and lots. So, you can see here from the first question, ever been, okay? So it's going to be a question with a past participle. Ever been, alguna vez? Entonces yo creo que va a ser ha sido, right? I think it's going to be have you ever been? Anyone in your family speak English? Present tense, anyone? Okay, we looked at anyone. It takes third person form, so it's going to be does, because speak is an action, and it's present tense, third person, does. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to stop the video, do the rest of the questions, and I will tell you the answers in 3, 2, 1. Are you going? Are you going out tonight? This is passive voice. Were you given? En lugar de decir en español te dieron, sería como fuiste dado o te fueron entregados muchos juguetes. Es como un poco extraño, ¿no? Pero en inglés es normal. Were you given? Rock is better than jazz, do you think? You both sleep well last night. You two did, you both. Anyone ever told you? Ever, again, okay, and again, anyone. It takes the third person, so it's definitely have, but it's third person. Has. Has anyone ever told you you're beautiful? Your dad a policeman? In this case, could be was, but I think it is. And you like some ketchup. This was kind of mean of me. I put would, even though I didn't give you would as a possible answer. Sorry. Would you like some ketchup, right? A trick question. And now, I would like you to join the question with its possible answer. Some questions might be possible for a few different answers, but let's try and mix and match the question with a correct answer. The key is the auxiliary verb, right? Have you ever been to France? No, I haven't. Okay. Does anyone in your family speak English? No, they don't. Okay. Again, I'm going to give you some time to do the other 7 questions. So stop the video. Ready? Okay, here are the answers. 3, 2, 1. Are you going out tonight? No, I'm not. Were you given a lot of toys as a child? Yes, I was. Do you think rock is better than jazz? Yes, I do, obviously. Did you both sleep well last night? Yes, we did. Has anyone ever told you you're beautiful? Yes, they have. Is your dad a policeman? No, he isn't. And would you like some ketchup? No, thanks. Again, I didn't include the would in the answers because I didn't want to make your life too easy, right? So this class is going to be pretty short, okay? It's just a quick review to start us off for pre-advanced level. But now it's time for a song. This is the song I have selected because it includes some more complicated grammar and I really like it, okay? So let's have a look at the translation of the lyrics. I'm not going to give you an activity, but I do want you to go and listen to the song and hear the pronunciation of the singer because he's also British. So this song is called Mirror Ball, and a mirror ball is one of these at a disco, okay? And what he's saying is the moon is like a mirror ball, okay? The moon is like a mirror ball. Let's have a look. I plant the kind of kiss that wouldn't wake a baby, okay? I plant the kind of kiss that wouldn't wake a baby. So a plant, in this case, is a colloquial way of saying put or put down or put on, okay? So obviously plant is una planta and plant is also the verb. So to plant a kiss is to place a kiss, poner un beso, el tipo de beso que no le despertaría a un bebé. O sea, so a very, very soft, very gentle kiss on the self-same face that wouldn't let me sleep, okay? En la misma cara, la muy misma cara, esa de self-same is not actually grammatically correct, but la misma cara que no me dejaría dormir, okay? So I think he's talking about his girlfriend. I plant the kiss on my girlfriend or my partner's face, en la cara. And the street is singing with my feet. Y la calle está cantando con mis pies. Interpret that how you will. And I love this next line, it's fantastic. And dawn gives me a shadow I know to be taller. This is fantastic. El amanecer me da una sombra que yo sé que es más alto que antes. Básicamente está diciendo que me siento más hombre, me siento más alto, más grande, más orgulloso porque estás en mi vida, ¿no? Porque mi sombra, mi estatura está como que más alto, elevado. All down to you, dear. Down to you significa que culpa de ti, ¿no? Tú eres la responsable. Todo esto es por ti. Me siento muy bien, me siento más hombre por ti. Todo ha cambiado. Everything has changed. Okay. My sorry name has made it to graffiti. It's kind of an interesting expression. Mi nombre triste, en este caso sería como mi pobre nombre ha llegado a ser graffiti, right? My sorry name has made it to graffiti. Estaba buscando o buscaba a alguien que me completara, okay? So, tenía un hueco y estaba buscando a alguien que llenara ese hueco. I was looking for someone to complete me. Ya no, querida. Not anymore, dear. Todo ha cambiado. Everything has changed, okay? You make the moon our mirror ball. Tú haces o tú conviertes la luna en nuestro mirror ball. No sé cómo decirlo en español, pero esto. The street is an empty stage. The street's an empty stage. I put that in bold because it can be confusing, right? The street is an empty stage. Okay, so la calle es un escenario vacío. The city sirens violins. Las sirenas de la ciudad son como violins. Todo ha cambiado. Okay, so it's very, very sweet song because he's saying you make me feel taller. You make the moon our mirror ball. The streets is like a stage. the sirens of the police is like violins. He's super in love. He's super in love. So lift off love. Entonces despega amor, right? Despega el amor, lift off. And we took the town to town last night. We kissed like we invented it. That's very sweet. We took the town to town. Cuando llevas algo al pueblo, así decir, we took something to town, significa que lo hiciste, pero al máximo. Okay? Well, I took it to town, or I took something to town. I took him to town. It means like I really punched him, right? To take something to town means to really do it to the max, all right? Hicimos el pueblo al máximo, ¿no? Pero es un juego de palabras porque town es town. Básicamente salieron y se reventaron, ¿no? Tuvieron una noche fantástica saliendo en las calles del pueblo. Besamos como lo habíamos inventado, algo nuevo, ¿no? Fascinados. So, con mucha pasión. And now I know what every step is for to lead me to your door. Y ahora sé para qué fue cada paso en mi vida era para guiarme a tu puerta, to lead me to your door. Para que sepas, o know, es imperativo, ¿no? Es un imperative. Know that while, o sea, sabe, no sé si ese es el imperativo en español, que mientras duermes todo ha cambiado. That while you sleep, everything has changed. That while you sleep, everything has changed. And again, the moon is our mirror ball, the street's an empty stage, the city silence violins, everything has changed. Lift off love. It's a really nice song, and it's a good band, and it's a fantastic album. And now finally, one more thing. In pre-advanced level, every class I'm going to share with you 3 or 4 idioms, okay? So idioms are very important because they're not grammatically easy to define, but they are used a lot in English, okay? So 3 very common idioms every class, 3 or 4. The first 3 for today are over the top, a piece of cake, and up in the air. So if 2 people are talking and one person says, this is the worst day of my life, and the other person says, come on, that's a bit over the top, okay? Over the top in this case is exagerado, right? No es exagerado o eso es una exageración. This exam is difficult. No, it's not. It's a piece of cake. Piece of cake means easy. So I could say, no, it's not. It's easy. Or, no, it's not. It's a piece of cake. Up in the air. When do we start? I'm afraid that's still up in the air. No se sabe, right? Up in the air, dudoso. No se sabe, okay? Como está en el aire. No se ha concretado nada, right? So there you have 3 idioms. Over the top, a piece of cake, up in the air. I hope this class was a piece of cake for you. I hope that my explanations are not over the top. And I hope I did not leave any doubts or anything up in the air. Okay? That's everything for the first class in this pre-advanced level. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to make sure you see all of my videos that are uploaded every Monday and Thursday. And of course, you can always join the Facebook group to download all of my resources, including the presentation for this class. Thank you for learning English with me, and I will see you next class.